Yeah, like, cause I know like both of us like have somewhat of a running background, and so like that's basically all I'm interested in when the Olympics come on. I'm like the whole first week, I'm like, when's track and field start? Because it was like
Yeah,
later. So,
totally.
but yeah, I mean, I can imagine like, especially like having been there in Rio and stuff, that kind of had to be a little weird because I guess Rio was the last Olympics right before this one
Yeah.
because of the whole
Yeah.
delay and stuff.
Yeah. It was a bit weird. I like watching what like it's very cool to like meet these athletes after and stuff. And so I could like kind of understand it a bit more. So I would have watched more things, but I was kind of the first week I was like, I'm not really into it. And then track started and I was like, oh, I don't, it's too close.
Yeah.
And then I watched the 1500-meter heats with Safan Hassan's fall. I don't know if you saw that. She fell in the heats and then got up and like won her whole heat. She fell the bell.
Yes, I
Yeah.
did see that.
And it just like shook me out a bit. I was like, oh my God, you can't capture this in like results. I need to watch this. This is so exciting.
Yeah.
What am I doing? And so from then on, I watched like everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what, I don't want to like, bring up a sour subject, but like,
No, it's all good.
that I can imagine like that's got to be pretty tough. Like having been there, wanting to go back, like what was that kind of like? Trying to go back, number one. I mean, it takes, it took you 20 something years just to get there the first time. So what was it like trying to get there, to go back, like trying to recreate kind of that magic in 2016 and everything like that?
Yeah, it was just so complicated. I was hurt and I was hurt for a very, very long time, like a year and a half, and like all through COVID. And I worked so hard to try and make it work out. And for a very long time, there were like paths where it could have, like, if this happened and this happened, then I would definitely be on the team and yada, yada, yada. And so until like a week or two before it was over, like it didn't feel like it was over. But all of these barriers kept being put in front of me. And like, as a Canadian, we couldn't travel to the States without doing a 2-week quarantine when we came back. And so that really changed everything because all of the races were in the States. And so pretty much all of the Canadian athletes just said, whatever, like, I'll just eat the quarantine. I need to go to the States to race. But the problem with the quarantine is that our trials were at the end of June and you had to run trials to be on the team. And since I'd been hurt, I was like, okay, well, I'll just be ready for our trials. And that's where I'll kind of like do my piece and like show that I'm ready and stuff like that. But Canada was smart enough to clue in that like, oh gosh, our entire team has gone down south. This is a problem. It's not ideal to have them stuck in a hotel room for 2 weeks like before their trials. And so they made trials optional because we don't have the depth that the US does, obviously. So it's not quite as cutthroat in most events where it's like, oh, okay, well, we really, really need this to select the top 3. So once they were optional, I was hooped because I had to race a month before I thought I'd be able to, or I had to. I had done one proper 5K workout. That's my event. And like, obviously it didn't go super, super well. It was my first race off of one workout in a year and a half. And I hadn't realized that that was going to be the only shot. And I was not ready for it to be the only shot. So all of these things were pulled away. And so it honestly, just watching gave me so much appreciation for having gone there before, because I don't think I realized how lucky I was the first time to have everything fall into place. Because it's one thing to be capable, and like Canada sent 3 very strong athletes in my event, so it's not like I'm like poo-poo, it should only be me. But it's one thing to be capable, and it's another thing to be ready at the right time, in the right place, in the right situation. And I'm so happy that I was once.
I read too, you're also involved in the, what's it, Fast and Female?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really cool organization.
Yeah. What is that?
Yeah. So it was started by an Olympic cross-country skier, and she was troubled by the fact that young girls seem to be dropping out of sport more than little boys. So her own sister was a teen at the time, and she was trying to like pick between going to parties or being a cross-country skier as well. They were from a small town, and it was like path A or path B. And at the exact same time, and she was like, oh my, this is interesting. This is what's happening with my sister. She was babysitting a little girl, and the girl said, man, boys are so lucky because they get to skateboard and girls don't. So yeah. not cool.
That's
so it kind of
rough.
triggered this idea in her head that like, this is not good. This is not ideal. So she founded this organization. It's also grown quite a bit over the last 10 years or so that's been in existence. And its mandate is to try and prevent young girls from wanting to drop out of sport, because they drop out of sport at about a rate at about 8 times higher than young boys when matched for like socioeconomic factors and like other barriers. So they do it in 3 ways. They basically try and change culture by convincing girls that sport's cool, it's fun, it's awesome, it's a good thing in your life. Because if they're social belonging, girls stay. If they feel like an outsider or they don't feel like they belong, they quit. They try and preach health. A lot of girls are afraid of getting hurt or injured, so they do a lot on like nutrition and recovery and stuff like that. And they also lead all of their sessions and whatnot. So they do workshops and like interactive sessions and stuff with these kids, and they're all led by national team athletes, because the third pillar, I guess, is that these girls have role models. So if they can see, okay, cool, this older woman has done this, I can relate to her, or like she's my friend now and she went to the Olympics, stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool. Awesome. So everything's online.
It was last year. In the past, we had these, like we do workshops in schools sometimes, or with sport groups, or even these great big summits where there'd be hundreds of little girls that would like all meet each other from all different sports. It was tons of fun. I met other athletes from other sports too. So
I'm sure it does still happen on any training program. You know, sometimes people get hurt and stuff like that. So how do you guys deal with that kind of thing? Because it can be difficult to continue to train and not lose fitness while being hurt.
Yeah, that's a good question. It is discouraging. I have been hurt. This is a good question. I didn't even plant it, but I've been hurt so many times that I actually wrote an ebook on recoveries from injury for runners. Wow. It's free. It's totally free. If anyone wants to read it, I just like wanted to share what I've learned from rehabbing injuries and cross training through injury with everyone, because I spent so much time doing it and I found it so hard to find information myself. Like everyone's heard of people who come back stronger from injuries, and I had to basically trial and error how to do it. So it's on our website. It's called the Backup Plan. If you just Google it or go to our website, you'll find it.
We'll put the link in the description for anyone listening to check it out. Yeah.
Yeah. Ebook is a generous term. It's like a really long document, but the font is big, I promise.
That's amazing. I love that.
With that background, it can be like, I feel very comfortable giving people really effective cross-training workouts because I've done them for so freaking long. So that could be water running or biking or elliptical or whatever, different breakups of intervals and long days and easy days and stuff like that. So if they're motivated and that's what they want to do, then that's absolutely an option, and they will come back much fitter than if they did nothing. But you're right. It can be really hard when you're injured, and not everyone wants that. And sometimes people need to take a break or step away or focus on something else for a little bit, and that's fine too.
I like to eat a bowl of ice cream.
Me too. And then get on the elliptical.
Right. While eating it. Right.